And scene. We are back, episode 44 of We Need to Talk About This. I'm your host, Chuck Oliveris. My friend Holly Gallo is back. You guys know her. She's been here twice before, and she's back again. I actually asked her to come and do this podcast because the world's so crazy, and I just wanted to have someone else to feed off of the madness that's going on and kind of discuss it in a general way like everybody is. Everybody's talking about things that are going on. If you remember, Holly, she was here when she was going through law school. What school did you go to?
San Joaquin College of Law. It's a small one in Clovis.
Okay, so you're going up there to do it?
I was. I don't got to go back anymore.
Yeah, that's nice.
I'm done.
So she's all done. She just took the bar. She's waiting to find out if she passed it. But of course she passed it. She's passed everything in her life, and she's going to pass this one.
Don't.
Yes.
Everybody who's got wood, go knock on it. I'm scared.
No, but the amazing thing is that I want to share with you guys is she was valedictorian of her class of 2025. There she is. And I did not know your middle name until you took that picture and I stole it from you.
Got two middle names.
You did.
Fancy. Yeah.
Caitlin Marie. That's pretty cool. You could use that as a show name even.
Oh, good.
But there it is.
If I don't pass the bar, that'll be my...
Yeah, so there's her trophy, for which is amazing, and it doesn't surprise me at all, and it's pretty cool, and that's something hopefully Donald Trump can't take from you like he did those other medals. But getting into it, a lot going on in the world, and I'm just going to kind of start. We're just going to kind of talk about things because all of us are looking at social media. You're watching the news. Who can tell what the hell is real anymore and what isn't? I mean, between AI...
And now the AI knows how to do hands.
Yeah, that's
I'm not
weird.
even joking. It kind of freaks me out. It's hard.
And interesting enough, me and Dalton were shopping in, it wasn't Costco. Oh, it was Winco one night. And there was this robot thing mopping the floors. And it was like, it looked like you guys, somebody's supposed to be sitting on it like the guys do to buff the floors. But it was a robot doing it itself. And me and about 6 other customers were like, is somebody supposed to be driving that, or is it know what it's doing? So weird. This is what I'm talking about. Scary shit. Yeah. Now there's robots, and God knows where that's going to go. But this whole thing, just looking at social media, I was telling her before she came to the podcast tonight that as I was preparing for it, I kept seeing more and more because every day you guys are seeing the same things we are. Every day. Now they're doing this. The administration's doing that. Now this person's doing that. Now they've changed that. And it's just freaking nuts. And it's, what do we say? It's so much.
Yeah.
It's so much.
Fatigue, right? You can't keep up and focus on. And
I kind of wanted to start the conversation back a year ago when this happened with Donald Trump. So supposedly someone tried to take him out and shot his ear. And this is interesting because I saw a little thing on this, and this is what made me want to talk about. This is one of the things I want to talk about. So here's the kid that supposedly did it, right? And you can see what this says here. How is it possible 11 months later we still don't know anything about the guy who tried to take out President Trump? That got to me, and I thought, I've been saying that for a while. Because if you watch all the videos, I've watched people who've analyzed the videos, analyzed that day, how the Secret Service responded. In fact, if you look at the comments, let's look at this because this is interesting to me. Look, Secret Service took him out there in slow motion with most of his body still visible. What did it say? They used, of course, after a fist bump, when he said fight, 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 right? Said when Reagan got shot, they threw him in the car in 5 seconds. This was a PR stunt. And the other person here says it was staged to get sympathy votes. Poor guy was just collateral damage, talking about the kid and the shooter. So since then, I've watched all kinds of stuff on this. Doctors, surgeons that have looked at the ear and said there's no way that ear that he currently has on him was ever clipped or shot. Cartilage does not, there would be something and there's nothing. So, does that surprise me? No, it doesn't surprise me. It's not like the first thing like that that's probably ever been done with government and stuff, but it bothers me because who's that kid? And where is that kid? They never interviewed parents. When a kid shoots somebody, that kid that just shot somebody at the Target, they're talking to the parents. You know, what happened with your kid? Where'd your kid get the gun? Blah, blah, blah. This kid supposedly did this on that day a year ago or 11 months ago, and now he's out of sight, out of mind. Is he even real? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I got to admit, like, I've been the last few years not remotely up on a lot of current event things, and then especially the last 6 months, like prepping for the bar, I've been
you're
trying to stay off social media, and not that I was always successful, but I tried to focus. So I didn't see a lot of the reaction to it, or even a lot of news coverage of a lot of it. But I was trying to think about it today, and I thought, if anything, like so many other conspiracy theories that we have, and I feel like especially American conspiracy theories, right? It's, if nothing else, a really insightful I don't know, a reflection of our fears and our projection of our insecurities. And so I think in this particular case, like I like to think I'm a really rational person and logical person, and I try to take the evidence and be able to change position when facts are presented to me. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I'm saying, though. I've really followed all that since that day. And the cops were saying the crowd saw someone on the roof the whole time. Why didn't Secret Service see that? Of course they saw it. You're not guarding the president without seeing that stuff. It's just hanky, and it's a little weird, and I just think it's strange. And I think the comments that some of these people, I think this other one is about that too, is it saying it was no failed attempt to murder him. This was a scripted assassination to get him up in the polls. A bullet from a rifle going through a human ear would leave so much tissue damage, yet Trump hasn't even got the slightest scar. After he got shot, he got up, raised his fist, and started to chant, "Fight, fight, fight." That's no natural behavior for someone who just got shot at. That's following directions. Even his bodyguards allowed him to get up while they didn't know where the shooter was still and whether he was still active. The whole thing was scripted really, really badly. Well, I personally agree with that. I think it's bullshit. I think it was fake. I worked in Hollywood. You can get blood packs. You can make it happen real easy.
I'm not saying it's impossible.
Right.
I'm just saying it's just so hard. Like, that's the nature of the information that we get these days, and the fact that DOJ and every other like national agency or whatever has confirmed certain facts, but now we don't even know to trust that.
No, I don't trust anything. I don't believe anything.
And that's just it, where it's like that. It's probably more likely than not that was absolutely just a wild card.
Right.
But the fact that there is a question gives, I think that says something even more interesting. Like, why do we have such little faith?
Yes.
I
have some really good friends here in our town that are huge supporters of Donald Trump. And one of them is always responding to my things on my page, which irritates me. Believe what you want, I'll believe what I want, but stay off my page, put it on yours type thing. And when he does that, it kills me, because he always says, "Oh, that's not real. You're reading into the propaganda." I go, and I want to say, what do you think you're doing? Because there's propaganda. Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, goodness.
So, but the fact of the matter is, you don't know what's real anymore. My cousin's always teasing me, because I'll tell him, "Hey, there's a new movie coming out with Jim Carrey and Adam Sandler." He goes, "No, dude, I checked on it. You got to start researching things."
Those fake trailers.
I know, it pisses me off, because then I'm like, "Oh, that sounds good. I want to go see that." But I'm just saying, you can't believe anything, especially AI and stuff. I mean, I'm so quick to go, "Oh, look at that little puppy," and then they saved it, and that's AI. And I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah.
So what do you believe anymore? I mean, who knows? There was a day years ago when I was growing up, and I was kind of in my 30s, we had credible news people. And I'm talking about people like Dan Rather and Harry Reasoner, Barbara Walters, people that reported accurate news that was not bullshit. And now it's like, I can't tell who's telling what. You know what I mean? It's kind of sad because in those times, you guys, people respected those broadcasters because they knew they were legit and they would not be on there saying it if they didn't feel it was, accurate.
And I feel like the history of American journalism has kind of gone through these ups and downs. Like even in the beginning, it was the muckrakers, right? And just publishing whatever outlandish things that needs to be done. And then it seemed like it did kind of go into this era of trying to be more objective, but in a way, it kind of presents its own issues because it's a fallacy that it can even be purely objective, right? We're not just these like...
It sucks.
Yeah, but then you get the 24-hour news cycle.
Yeah.
And I mean, Reagan, I think, was probably one of the first big where it was like, wall-to-wall coverage. And then there was the, oh gosh, now I'm forgetting the act, but it was with political coverage where now it has to be like equal time.
Oh, yeah.
Each side, which certainly has its benefits, but then it also... you're sacrificing something else too, and it always is that give and take of...
Well, and currently where we sit right now, I personally feel like there are no more rules. There's no more rules.
Well, no, because now capitalism rules. Whatever is going to get the hits, whatever is going to get...
Yeah. And I think that's really, really scary. And I've got a couple things in here we're going to show you guys while we're having this conversation because it's stuff you've seen on your social. I'm not pulling this from anywhere, just like Instagram, Facebook, X, all these little things. And it's every day, like Holly said, it's so much. And it really is. It's like I'll be scrolling just to see what my friends are doing on my social media. And then I'll just have to be like, I can't anymore because it's just being thrown at me in the next one and the next one. And I'm like, again, what now? What now? What now? There was a little meme I used many podcasts ago, but it said something like breaking news. What the fuck now? And it's kind of how I feel in the world currently where we sit. But the ear thing bothers me a little bit. But again, I wouldn't be surprised. The thing that surprised me the most was the maxi pad on the ear. Oh,
if for no other reason than the obsession with being... It
was a maxi pad, wasn't it?
I mean...
It looked like...
It looked familiar to me. Yeah. Like, I'd done seen them. But mostly it was just this like cowboy John Wayne mentality. Right. Never show fear, never let them see you bleed.
Well, and they're making that point in that comment. Look I've been alive 63 years. I've seen Reagan get shot. I saw a lot of presidents, right? In this kind of a assassination attempt thing. The Secret Service don't fuck around, you guys. They do not act like they acted on that day. They would have had that fucker off of the stage. He would not have been allowed to stand up. If you watch the video, actually, for those of you that saw it, you even hear Trump say on the microphone, "Wait, let me get my shoe." They would not let him get his shoe. Your job is
narcissist.
Oh, I know.
Because that's the other side of it too, where it feels scripted. His whole life is scripted. It's how do I make this about me? So I think that's kind of what pulls me back too. Is well, of course it feels unnatural because it is unnatural. He doesn't behave like somebody with a conscience.
No,
or a sense of...
I don't think he definitely doesn't have one. And I remember him before he ever decided to go into politics and being in the entertainment industry down in Hollywood. I did some things around him before and stuff. And I always felt like something was not right. His own sister and mother said that, so and what does that tell you? If your own blood thinks something ain't right, maybe something ain't right. I don't know. Let's see what my next little thing here is. Oh, so we were kind of talking about this over the phone. Since you'll no longer find any information about Donald Trump, 2 impeachments, which says 34 felony counts in the Smithsonian, I thought it would be appropriate to remind some of you this. Since 2019, the president was impeached for the first time for abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. 2023, he was impeached again for indictment of an insurrection, which we know. Then in 2024, he's convicted of 34 felony accounts of falsifying business records, which we all know. Later that same year, he made history as the first convicted felon elected president of the United States, which, in my opinion, is freaking embarrassing. All of that is information that should live on for generations to learn about in the Smithsonian, America's most revered historical archive. So we were kind of talking about that.
I think that's some of the stuff that upsets me. Obviously, not that the
Right.
actual harm and violence being committed against people is not
right.
Obviously, but on a broader perspective of, and not just how it affects individual lives, but the overarching, like, oh shit, this is just so much bigger than us. It
really is.
It's Orwellian,
it's overwhelming.
And I always thought, as much as I knew that the system didn't work,
right.
And of course, as you grow up, when you're a kid, you're like, no, these things work, and that's how. And
your brain develops. You're not stupid anymore, and you start to
get some life experience. And I thought I pretty much knew what to expect from people, and then seeing how quickly people were willing to bend the knee and lick the boot, and
a lot of them,
and like the Smithsonian, it's just these national institutions of education and academia, and Harvard, and
I would say Harvard too. There's another one. It's like he was just going after everything, and it's like, why do you need to do that? Because
you have to control the narrative.
Yes.
Which it didn't surprise me that he did that at all. What surprised me was that there was such little fight.
Right.
And granted, we only see the decisions that people make, not the choices that they had. So I could see. I was listening to some podcast about it, and I think it was a Strict Scrutiny, which is a really good podcast. They're a bunch of law professors, but they talk about Supreme Court stuff on a really accessible level. Like, it's not, too.
That sounds cool.
Oh, it's so good. And they're really funny, and they're a delight to listen to. But at any rate, they were talking about this, and if you're the president of a university and you're being faced with this decision of losing like half your funding, and it's really easy to sit on this side and say, well, yeah, don't obviously, like, this is against everything you stand for and what these institutions are supposed to be doing. But on the other hand, if you're on the administrative end and losing that funding means you're going to have to fire half your support staff, or janitors and clerks and teachers aid, professors, I wouldn't want to be put in that position to decide, like, okay, are we going to fire half our staff and now half of our people don't have a career or job anymore? That would suck. On the other hand, like, damn, somebody's got to stand up somewhere.
I know. And
the shit's going to hit the fan eventually. Stand up now. You're just delaying it. Just do it.
Yeah, it's like we keep saying, it's all so much. I mean, if you go back to when this thing started with him, I feel like it's just been like, it's like he's just doing things to do them, And then you have people saying, like some of my friends who didn't vote for him will say, well, these people voted for him, they're getting what they deserve, blah, blah. I don't actually believe that. Maybe now sitting here, I don't know whether I actually believe all those people actually did vote for him, but he was able to win that election, because now you start talking about, he said himself out of his own mouth on the news, we rigged the election so I could win. He literally said those words because he let stuff slip out. He doesn't even know Alaska. He did that with Alaska today, and it's like he's losing his damn mind. I don't know what. And people are still like, and I'm like, dude, that's who you want, I don't know.
I wonder how much of that is kind of the sunk cost fallacy too, where you've spent so much time. Anybody in a cult, it's hard to get them out, and I don't say that dismissively. I mean, we all know.
I'm actually glad you brought up the word cult, because people are using it quite a bit. But honest to God, you guys, I was thinking this before she got here tonight. I thought, what makes people glob onto a cult of any kind like that? When I think about it now, I'm old enough to remember Jim Jones in Guyana. I remember that whole deal, and I lived through that. David Koresh out in Waco. I mean, these little cult things, people go, and it's like,
well, and it's intelligent people too.
Yeah, it is. But look what happened in Jonestown when those people got there and he decided everybody's going to do the Kool-Aid. Mm-hmm. There were people trying to leave and they were killing them, shooting them, you know, including Congressman Leo, forget his last name. But that was disturbing tape, you know, when they're trying to run to the plane and they're, you know. Mm-hmm. But I just think the word cult, and I'm like, what else would you call it, right? You guys, I mean, what else can you call it when you have that much of a massive people behind it? But then I look at reels like I saw today in Chicago, which was a peaceful protest, and it was peaceful, but it was the most massive amount of people I have ever seen from an airplane down in Chicago protesting. And I thought, thank God there's somebody out there that cares and is trying to, you know what I mean?
I think that's the thing we have to keep holding on to, because it's like we were talking about, it's this fatigue and just constant every day. But never forget that there are people out there and you're not always going to see them on the news.
And what's the other word where they use all the time? Distraction. The Epstein files, we'll talk a little bit about that. But now people are just throwing that out there because they know he don't want to hear it. They know they don't want to, you know. And I don't know if you know, there was something that came out last week. J.D. Vance had a dinner party last week at his house for them to go over those files to make sure.
The ones that don't exist? Those ones?
That's it. Do you see what I mean? When I kept saying all this year, I kept saying it don't make sense. It don't make sense, right? So that's crazy. That kills me. Yeah, so that Smithsonian thing, and this is the other half of that here, I think. Oh, it says Trump demanded the D.C. Museum to remove all references of his criminal history from their exhibit on the U.S. presidency. This is exactly what Hitler did. This is exactly what Kim Jong-un and Putin do. Trump's trying to run America as a dictator and rewrite its history. Well, I mean, okay, that might be a personal opinion or whatever, but he is doing that. So, you know, why do I need to say anything else? I don't think I do. When you're going to go and change, you know, history, like you said, in our institutions that protect these kind of things and stuff, and you're going to change it to fit your narrative, then something's not right, and you're probably a bad guy.
And we already do it anyway. I mean, God, look at every history textbook in our classrooms. I was a substitute for a little while. I don't know if I already talked about this at any point, maybe just with you, but I was doing maybe a fourth grade class. It was whatever grade you're doing with California history.
Right.
And so, you know, we're just reading through the whatever chapter, and it was talking about all of California history that you could fit on 2 giant pages and like 16-point font.
Right,
you know?
right.
So it was very thorough. But at the end, the teacher's notes, and just after you read the chapter, go through the vocabulary words and talk to the kids about what they mean or whatever. So we're just kind of going down the list, and we get to the word immigrant, and in there, you know, all 4 pages of that chapter, it was talking about California being the melting pot. And you have immigrants from Russia and Mexico and China and everywhere, whatever. And it had the definition of immigrant, which was someone that came from a different country. Pretty simple. But also in the first of those 4 pages was talking about how people already lived here in California before others came. So we get to that. We're going down the list of vocabulary words, and I get to the word immigrant, and we talk about what it means. And God, it was like 4th graders. I'm not trying to dive into
they're not. Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to like blow anybody's mind.
Don't try.
And I was just like, oh, it's interesting. You know, this is the definition, but it brings up people from Russia and China or whatever. But there was already people living in our state. So what are some other immigrants we can think of? And someone like raised their hand. Oh, like from England and Europe. And I was like, yeah, that's a great point. I think they were immigrants too. I kid you not. One girl just started crying, and I went up to her, like kind of trying to not make it a big deal. Like, okay, go read amongst yourselves or whatever. And I go up to her and I'm like, hey, baby girl, like what's going on? Are you okay? My dad said immigrants are bad. Does that mean I'm bad? Because my family's European. And it was just like, oh,
yeah,
wow.
Everybody came from someplace, and yeah.
But it was just the level of,
and that's a 4th grader, right? That's living in the world that we're living in today.
Well, and that's where I'm getting to, is that history's never been written in an objective way. It's always the victors that write it.
Oh, sure.
And of course, I mean, maybe not the national government, but on the state level, more in charge of our curriculums and the textbooks. And so it's always been heavily skewed.
Oh, he's messed with those too.
Oh, yeah. Whatever. They've been doing that for forever.
Yeah.
Texas has like the largest.
Oh, they're the worst. Yeah.
Well, because they buy the most textbooks. So the McGraw-Hill or whatever, like they're all just whatever.
Corporate money. It's,
right.
Yeah.
I remember, what was it? God, it was probably like 20 years ago or something. They were trying to take out any reference to Cesar Chavez because it incited violence against white people. Yeah. So I'm just, what he's doing is an unprecedented, but again, I feel like more of the shock is just going like, oh, wow, people really just don't give a shit.
It seems like it, doesn't it?
And I guess I'm more shocked that I'm shocked.
Well, and my purpose was for talking to you about this stuff was just because we're just two friends, and I wanted to just talk about it as two friends would talk about it, sitting talking to each other, because I think there's a lot of us feeling it and don't know what to do about it. And I guess the bigger question, what can you do about it? I mean, he's got the Supreme Court and everybody all locked in. You know what I mean? It's like, we're fucked, you know? And I mean, what can you do other than civil war, which then will just put him right where he wants to be, you know what I mean? Which is what I personally think he's trying to get to. You know, going down trying to take control of LA, and now he's in DC and taking over the police department today. And it's like, wait a minute. It's a playbook. It's right out of the Hitler playbook, you know? It's nuts. So I just have to, I don't know. I guess that's what overwhelms me. It overwhelms me going, you know, what can anybody do about this? Somebody could shoot him, but they're not going to, the kid supposedly tried to, but I'm just surprised there hasn't been more activity with that kind of stuff, you know? And it's just scary. It's scary because you don't know what's next. I kind of say that every morning, what's next? What's next? So here they are. Here's his record right here. 64 times he's mentioned in the Epstein report, 97 times pleaded the fifth, 34 felony convictions, 91 criminal charges, 26 sexual assault allegations, 6 bankruptcies, 5 draft deferments, 4 indictments, 2 impeachments, 2 convicted companies, 1 fake university shut down, 1 fake charity shut down, $25 million fraud settlement, $25 million or $5 million sexual abuse verdict, and 2 million fake charity abuse. Well, that was the charity that they stole the money for the kids, him and his son. Yeah, they had a charity.
Didn't even hear about it.
But so this stuff right here, just so you guys know, this is stuff you can look up, and it's facts, and it's, what do you call it? You can see it's real. It wasn't fake shit. It's not propaganda, as my friend would say. It all happened. But I'm just saying,
you're just listening to the liberal media, Chuck. You have to expand your mind.
I know. But with a list like that, I ask you, that's who we want? Really? I guess so. That the people have spoken. So here's the Epstein thing. I saw this, I think, yesterday. Face It Magna, if Trump's name wasn't all over the Epstein files. This is kind of funny, you guys. They would have been released unredacted, printed and bound in $500 special edition, signed by Trump, recorded as an audiobook by James Woods and Mel Gibson, and tattooed on Marjorie Taylor Greene's behind. You can't help but laugh at that because it's the truth. You see what I'm saying? And which is interesting. I just have to tell you that Marjorie, is that how you say her name? So I'm sure everyone's familiar with her, the blonde, one of the blonde Barbies that's out there all the time. She was hardcore Trump, right? And now has
she defected?
Now she's kind of saying he needs to release that Epstein list, and she's yelling and screaming at some of the meetings and stuff they're having. I've seen some of the reels, and I'm dying laughing because it's like she was all him.
She better watch out. She's gonna end up strangling herself in prison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is like those couple, was it senators that got shot in their homes, or 2 Democrats or 3, or something like that. And again, never heard anything about that, right? Yeah. So I just think it's interesting with that many things on your plate, and you're able to do what you're doing and still do it. So this guy, Senator Dick Durbin, he says for 2 weeks in late March, the FBI assigned approximately 1,000 personnel in its information management division and hundreds of additional agents from the New York field office to work 24-hour shifts to review and produce more Epstein documents. These officials were told to flag any records in which President Trump was mentioned. Really? I didn't know that. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. And that's a senator. There's a couple of Republican senators who have pulled out and are kind of like, I'm telling you, you know.
I gotta admit, I was kind of, I don't know, I sort of expected that the diehards would flip flop whichever which way they needed to go, because that is par for the course and just wholly unsurprising. But at the same time, I don't understand why there was such a push in the beginning. I suppose unless they truly thought it would never be released, because it was already known. Like everything wasn't released, but there were already some pieces of information released, and
there was the flight logs. How many times you've been on the plane?
Right,
it was more than 10.
Clinton named and Prince, whatever.
Yes. There's a lot of people.
Right. Yeah. So it's like this isn't surprising.
Yeah, they're not going to come out with it. It's not going to come out. There's too many people on it.
Well, exactly. Yeah. But then I do love, now that I am kind of back on Facebook a little bit, and I saw some post that was saying, well, you know, Clinton is on the Epstein list too. And someone had this meme that said, oh no, what am I going to do with my Clinton flag and my Clinton hat and my Clinton shirt and my Clinton tattoo?
I just said to somebody yesterday, when I was working the bar, I'm like, I just can't believe how upset and uproar everybody was that Bill Clinton got his dick sucked in the White House.
That. No, he's clearly like not a good. But I mean, fine if he's guilty. Go like nobody's sad about that. Yeah. Go if you've done. For God's sake,
it's just so many things like that where it's like they made such a big deal about this stuff. You know,
it feels like having a bad boyfriend when you're like, hey, you just punched me in the face and that's not cool. And then they go, well, you know, you yelled at me last week.
Or you wore the wrong color and he doesn't like that color. No, yeah.
Buddy.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a very good analogy right there, actually. Because that's how these people think. You know what I mean?
Well, you can't accept, there's no accountability, and you can't face facts if you've built somebody up on a pedestal.
Fuck no. So here it is. Justice Department has informed Trump that he is in the Epstein files multiple times. Now, you guys probably saw this all week on the news. They were talking about that Bondi lady, and she told him ahead of time, you're in there, you're in there, you're in there. And of course, he's going to say that he wasn't. But it says Trump is informed by the Justice Department multiple times in the files, according to the Wall Street Journal. So,
well, it's because Biden put him in there. Didn't you hear that last
Oh, my God, when I heard that. But that's just one of many things that this man has said that makes no sense.
I just like how they said Biden was too senile to sign his own name on things, but he was smart enough to go forge a bunch of documents.
Right.
And make them look legit. What a squirrely little guy.
There's a little pin that they wear on their suits in the White House and stuff, and now they're all wearing a little gold head of Donald Trump, the little pin. You say United States. No, I swear to God, that's not even a lie. And I actually brought it up on a podcast a couple of weeks ago when I saw it, and I showed a picture of it. And again, it came up on the news again that somebody proudly was wearing theirs. And I'm like, oh, my God. Because, you know, he's putting gold toilets in there, the $200 million ballroom. And somebody said the other day, do you really think that guy's going to spend $200 million on a grand ballroom at the White House to move out in 4 years? No, he's making it home. You know.
So I have a question about that, because I assumed it was just taxpayers funding that anyway, because presidents change it all the time.
Probably.
Don't they? And it's not illegal to have bad taste.
He's adding it, yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't expect him to leave. He's already told us don't worry.
Yesterday, they must have reported like 6 times that Trump moved Biden and Obama's portraits to an unknown stairwell area.
He just hit him in the attic or something.
And I actually saw Trump coming out of a door at the White House on a news clip, and the door was inlaid with all this new gold lame stuff. And I'm just like,
Very
oh my
classy.
God, it's so gaudy.
It's the classiest. You've never seen a
I'm like,
room
who lives
classier
there?
than that.
Yeah. But I remember years ago, Barbara Walters asking him something about his gold toilets in Trump Plaza in his apartment or his penthouse or something. So I just don't.
It just seems like
the obsession with the gold, the obsession with the notoriety of being somebody.
When you don't have any substance, then you
got to make
flashy about it.
You got to make it, or make it look like it, I guess. This person, I think came from Instagram. I saw it yesterday. Isn't a political movement. Magna isn't a political movement. It's a domestic terror network. This person says Idaho this week, Minnesota last week. Before that, Charleston, Charlottesville, El Paso, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and Columbine. These aren't random tragedies. They're a decades-long pattern of right-wing violence, school shootings, abortion clinics, bombings, governors, targeted churches, synagogues attached, and still the media won't say it. This is white nationalist terrorism, sanctioned by a political party, ignored by a press more afraid of rent control than fascism. That's an interesting thing to say, and it's not far from the truth. I mean, it seems like there's a few people in the press, if you watch it seems like he has a briefing every 5 minutes, because little blonde Barbie, Caroline Levitt, I can't stand her.
She's precious.
Oh, isn't she? Flip the hair, flip the hair, flip the hair. Don't you ever say it. And then who's the other one? Christy Nome dressing up. So is that her name, Christy Nome? Yeah. So I actually saw a lady in her house filming her arriving with the ICE people to get somebody. And before, or right after she got out of the truck, she had a hair and makeup person come up, fix her hair, and her little bulletproof vest. It was like watching a backstage at CSI Miami when I used to work on there. It was so fucking ridiculous. So that's who she is, and so I'm already with those guys. But, yeah, I don't even know. Oh my God.
Yeah, I feel like it only makes me not uncomfortable, but I guess the only hesitation I have with just suddenly saying that MAGA is like the terrorist group or whatever is that it totally ignores the fact that this is already been. Like, there's nothing entirely new, except now they have a published playbook about it with Project 25.
Yep.
But otherwise, it's all the same things. They're just saying
but
the
if you
quiet
remember,
parts out loud.
Before he got elected and reelected, they were talking about Project 2025.
Well, and that's just it. You already had Alec with funding whatever bills, like to the point that they forgot to take the Alec letterhead off. Like, what the fuck? So... that's again, not that I am not trying to remove any accountability at all, but I just don't want people to pretend like this is new and this is some kind of new thing. It's been happening, and we're only just now seeing it because we decided to, or because we had somebody in power that we disagree with. So it makes it easier to call it out. It's not as comfy to call it out when we have our own candidate in the White House and deportations are happening and families are being separated because it's someone.
I mean, some of this stuff personally, I would have been on board with to a certain point, but after it started being executed, and then everything, boom, 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 boom. I mean, this guy was signing shit like fucking autographs. You know what I mean? On everything. I signed a new declaration. I signed a new thing today. What was I saw 2 weeks ago? It was actually kind of funny. He was bragging at the microphone with Caroline Levitt next to him. He said, I've just signed a new executive order and it's going to change. I forget what it was for. And he opened the folder to turn it toward the cameras. I'm sure some of you people saw
drawings?
No, but
he doesn't do?
All the paper was blank inside of it and it fell on the ground. And the reporters were like, it's blank. There's nothing on that. And I thought it was hilarious.
He's like, Obama switched my ink with invisible ink. It's not my fault.
Exactly. So that kind of stuff just... it's crazy. What do I got here? Oh, that was part of the church thing. Yeah, this guy said, so this is the water we're swimming in now. If you can't see it, you're already drowning. Well, I tell you, he's probably right. So now I want to talk about this. This always bothered me, and I remember when this happened. So Do you remember this little girl? Her testimony is available online. You can check it, and it's all valid and stuff. So her name was Katie Johnson. She sued Trump and allegedly for raping her when she was 13 years old at Jeffrey Epstein's New York home, but was forced to drop the case after receiving multiple death threats. So there's a million of those kind of things, and all that's, do you know what I mean? We learn about it. We're told about it. You research it. It's a fact. It happened. They did take it so far. Then they pulled back. So, do you know what I mean? This is all stuff that's just, and then I think this plays into that too. Oh yeah, I just saw an ABC News headline. Why is summer tourism down in the United States? It says, seriously, masked man authorized by government to grab anyone who doesn't look Aryan and send them to a random country and doesn't strike you as bad for tourism? No, we want to go to the U.S. I had some guys from Australia in my bar a couple of weeks ago, and they were talking about it. And I said, take me home with you. You know, I'll go have a shrimp on the Barbie. But yeah, it's that kind of stuff. It's just crazy to me. I just don't get it. So this is what they tell you to do when you start talking about the ICE guys. It's they're teaching people online now how to intervene safely. Well, there really is no way to safely intervene anymore because now he's almost given carte blanche to the police to just do whatever you need to do, slam them to the ground. I've watched people being pulled by their hair into cars and stuff.
And frankly, again, that's always been the thing too with recording cops. There's no safe way to do it. It doesn't matter if the law is on your side.
No, this is kind of a funny story, but at Gay Pride in West Hollywood a couple of years ago, my friend Caesar was there, and we were outside of this bar, and there's like a million people out there and stuff. And the cops were arresting this guy who was drunk, pulling him out of the bar, and they had him down on the curb, and he was all, "Stop that! That's police brutality!" And he had, at that time, they were the little flip phones with the pictures, and my friend Caesar was like, and I go, "Bro, stop taking pictures. Don't get involved," you know. And I turned around to light my cigarette. When I turned around, they had Caesar face down, handcuffed, and were hauling him off to jail. And I had to drive his car. So, yes, there's always a risk at doing that. And they don't want to be caught. I'm going to say if you're going to film the ICE guys, you do it from a distance where they don't know you're even there, you know. And here's the thing. My thing with that, by the way, I am not upset with deporting actual criminals with, you know, the right shit like they're supposed to be doing, but going into an immigration courthouse and snatching them when they're doing what they're supposed to be doing is just beyond me, you know, because there I am going to do what I'm supposed to do so I can stay where I'm at, where I've been for 20 years. And you're literally going to grab me as I walk out the door of the courtroom. What the fuck kind of sense does that make in any world?
No, it's just like
I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Right, using IRS records to find, but they don't pay taxes. I mean, everybody's seen the things on Facebook and whatever, but yeah.
So speaking of immigration, you know, and this has come up a million times already, but here you go. Seems like a good day to remind everyone that Trump's ex-wife Ivana wasn't an American citizen until 1988. She gave birth to Don Jr. in 77, Ivanka in 81, and Eric in 84. Let's cancel their birthright sitters. You know, it's like, and then when somebody asked him that, because there's a few reporters I started to say a minute ago in those briefings, and they're getting bold, and they're just like straight up fucking asking Trump shit like that.
They're still allowed in there?
Well, he'll tell him, get him out of here after he won't answer it, or you'll never see him again after that. But I applaud them for asking it right to his face, you know, because what it does is it makes him, you know, blah, 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 you know what I mean? So it's interesting, right? And I know there's a bunch of people that are okay with the way they're doing this thing. I'm not. And I met a lady at the bar yesterday from LA, and she told me she was all for she's a Latino lady, and she's all for the ICE guys down there in LA and stuff. And I said, I'm okay if they're getting the people they're supposed to be getting. I'm fine with doing that, you know. What we're seeing, though, is not that. Everybody's filming it. Everybody's showing it to us. It's not going down that way, and you fucking know it isn't. They're running out at Home Depot and just randomly, what do they call it? Disappearing people. Mm-hmm. They're disappearing people.
That's kidnapping.
And it made me sick when I saw somebody saw some people pull over in their car to take a picture in front of the Alcatraz Island sign. in Florida.
Oh, of course. They're selling merchandise.
Dude, well, guess what? The Latinos, this is a perfect segue. The Latinos are doing it too. Look at the new piñatas you can find in your local Mexican neighborhood. I love it. When I saw that, I'm like, well, they got to fight back some way. At least they could hit that thing.
Well, they got it all wrong. You can see their faces.
That's true. There's supposed to be masks on those little guys. In fact, I think I know that guy. No, that gave me a little bit of a chuckle, though.
I'm trying to keep a straight face.
Right.
I'm not condoning violence.
So this was kind of what I was talking about. Every day, this guy says, I see big long lines of men at the Mexico-San Diego border. They're issued temporary work permits, put on buses, sent into the U.S. to fill jobs. But here's the part that breaks my heart, he says. Many of those jobs are being filled by replacements for the very people ICE is detaining and deporting, even those who've been showing up to their court dates, reporting in and doing everything by the book. I'm all about removing dangerous individuals, but tearing apart families who are trying to do things right and replacing them with others the next day. That's not justice. That's a system failing everyone. And that's what I mean. It's just it's just out there now. Anything goes. Anything goes. And I think that's got to be frightening for people of any dark skin color, you know?
I mean, yeah, not that it should matter, but you see the stories all the time of American citizens, and they were born here, and their parents were born here, and they served in Vietnam, and then they were detained for days,
right,
and accused of, stolen valor or whatever, until they realized, oh, you were born here, your parents were born here.
You mean under what's been happening now? Mm-hmm. Oh no, all the time.
Oh, right. And I don't think that should matter, because that's the thing too. And again, it's just like with Trump kind of trying to erase any like anti-American rhetoric in history and the Smithsonian, whatever else. If you were so convinced that this country was so perfect and we'd never done anything wrong, why would you be worried about telling the whole truth then? Mm-hmm. If we really did do everything right and we're righteous and our cause is righteous and we're the best country,
right?
Why would you be afraid to hide the truth? So in that same vein, though, when it comes to immigration and detaining people who, according to the law, do not have a right to remain here, how does that justify suddenly getting rid of those due process rights?
It doesn't.
But it's the same people that have the fucking Constitution decaled on the back of their truck window.
Yeah.
It's one of the few things in the Constitution
that a lot of people are saying now that
clearly written out there. There's nothing to even be implied.
Right.
It is express. It is explicit.
I read something the other day. He's trying to change that. Change the Constitution, take something out of it, and it's like, oh my God,
like the Voting Rights Act, like the Due Process Clause. Like
that is exactly one of them. Ones? That is exactly one of them. Yeah. That's not even a joke. They don't want people to vote anymore.
They haven't.
Yeah.
since it was.
They're going to make it so you can't. And we already know he said he wants his face on Mount Rushmore. I mean, come on. It's like, dude, what are you going to chisel off George Washington and put his big old face on there? I don't know. I just think those are narcissists, very, just disturbing fucking things. Disturbing as hell. People in wheelchairs. I saw this on the news. People in wheelchairs are getting arrested. These folks got arrested. You guys on your screen can see it here. This was right now at the time. It was like 2 weeks ago. Russell's Senate office building in D.C. They showed up to tell Congress not to cut their Medicaid, and because they can't afford health care without it. If you look closely, and you don't even need to look closely, you can see the zip ties.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, you see them? Right there. And I remember when this happened and I saw it, that was another thing that I got overwhelmed with and really upset at. I'm like, really? You already have an elderly person in a wheelchair? Do you have to make your point by zip tying? Just tell the people we're going to have to ask you to leave there. You know what I mean? That's just fucking ridiculous. That's the kind of shit that makes me want to get a bazooka and just blow the crap out of them.
And it's more again of the same. And
Yeah.
It's just been going, and I guess, I don't know, I'd hate to say silver lining because that feels like a really strong
I always
word.
tell everybody, if ICE comes for you, rip their mask off while they're grabbing you. Tear their fucking mask off. They hate when their mask comes off.
God help you.
Right?
I mean, save yourself.
Right?
But if you feel comfortable, I mean, gosh, do what you got to do.
And then there's this lady. This just happened a week ago. 54-year-old tamale vendor. She's arrested by ICE in Pacoima. She kept saying, I can't breathe. They tackled her. She had a heart attack right there on the street. All for selling tamales. She's been living here for 20 years. She's not a threat. She's not a criminal. She's a mom trying to survive. This is why we need to speak up always. So, and this is what I mean by there's no rules, you know. I think they totally targeted the vendors, which I kind of get. Okay, you know they're going to be Latino and from probably Mexico or whatever, but are they all criminals? That, you know what I mean?
Well, that's the point, because you don't have to worry about it as long as you mythologize an entire and criminalize an entire.
And I'm pretty sure a lady selling tamales doesn't have any criminal.
But it doesn't fucking matter. That was never the point. That was never the point. It's a hell of a lot easier to pinpoint people based on whether or not they're darker than you than it is to actually go check their criminal background.
Right.
And if in fact your goal is to inflict a genocide and to ensure the white America,
that's exactly what
future that you're trying to accomplish, then it doesn't matter, and it never really has. And now they're just bold enough to do it.
And that's why I can't help but think, okay, when I saw that massive protest of crowd from the air in Chicago this morning, it was this morning, I think, I remember thinking that's a lot of people. So what happens when all those people decide, fuck you, you know what I mean? And they all start doing whatever, I guess martial law, civil war.
What are you gonna do? Go out and vote?
No. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying don't go vote.
I know. Yeah.
It's every time we try to engage in the way that they say you're supposed to engage, it's not effective. And that's been a thing that's
been going on. Yeah.
Right. I mean, everybody loves to post Martin Luther King Jr. quotes about nonviolence and whatever, but they forget that he was also arrested and beaten for being fucking nonviolent and for wearing a suit and tie and not baggy pants. There's never going to be a right way to stand up to tyranny.
His statue's been removed from the White House as well, which is
for real?
No, yeah.
I don't know why
he's changing all that
surprised.
shit in there.
Well, I know they took down a lot of all the George Floyd monuments and the Black Lives Matter in DC, which again, not surprising, but just Christ.
This is interesting. This couple here, it says, meet the parents of the Idaho mass shooter. He lit a forest fire so he could shoot firefighters as they ran toward the danger. This just happened, 2 weeks ago or something. But there's his parents in front of the White House taking a photo op. And it's just interesting that this is the kid that went and did that. You know what I mean? It's and there's his parents. So, although my mom and dad would be like, well, don't blame me because you were a dumbass.
I was going to say, I'm like, God.
But you are coming through the White House. Yeah.
I mean, kids make.
So this one got to me, and I'm going to show 4 different sides on this girl. This one got to me, and you'll see why when we read it here. So she says, this is Oklahoma City. A woman says her family's fresh start in Oklahoma turned into a nightmare after federal immigration agents raided their home, taking their phones, laptops, and their life savings, even though they were not suspects in any kind of a crime or on paperwork for anything. She said, we just moved here from Maryland. We are citizens, and that's what I kept saying. We're citizens, we're citizens, we're citizens. She goes on to say, the agents who identified themselves as U.S. Marshals, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and FBI agents didn't seem to care, waking the family up, forcing them outside in their underwear, ransacking our house, taking the family's belongings as evidence. In her last slide, she says, in between all of them, she said, my husband has not even seen my daughter in her undergarments, her own dad, because he's respectful. You have her out here, a minor, in her underwear. So, I mean, it's stuff like this that gets me crazy. Because it's like, have a little fuck. Even if you think you're doing something good, at least have some respect, some human respect, you know. But
you can't. That's not how you're going to be effective with it, you know.
I said something about this to you the other day, and you're like, "What? I haven't heard that."
Oh gosh.
And it may be bullshit, but
yeah, I don't know. I hadn't heard that.
Supposedly, they're saying they found a human dump site where 383 bodies were hidden near the border. Well, look, it may be bullshit and it may be propaganda and all that, but this is why I tell you can't tell what's real and what isn't. But, dude, I can tell you that for me, that is not very far for me to believe with everything else that's going on.
So what did it say about who the bodies were? Or
nothing.
See, that's you can just have
just like the kid who shot Trump. Nothing. What was his name again? Where's he? What'd you guys do with him? You never told us. You know? I don't get it. Okay, this one's interesting. It's not so this is, okay, so somebody was talking about, so there's been several times Congress people have gone and tried to gain access to Alcatraz Island, or Alligator Alcatraz, and they've had the news crews with them filming them, and they won't let them in. And legally, they're supposed to have access to go in and check the facility. And like 8 times, a different person of a higher level in government has tried to get through the gate, and the cops being filmed, or the guys, no, we've been told you can't come in here. You can't come in here. Okay. First of all, why can't we go in there? We've already heard stories of people who've been incarcerated in there and gotten out, and now they're telling the stories of how they're treated. There's been about 6 stories of people that said that they treat them like dogs. They have to bend over and eat their food off the plate with their hands tied behind their back. They're groping women in there. They're groping men. They're doing a lot of shit. Well, no wonder they want to let anybody in there. But this says it's not a detention center. It's a death trap. This is a representative, Darren Soto from Florida, and he's a Republican. He said it plainly. Now we need to say it louder. Let's stop sugarcoating cruelty. What Trump created wasn't immigration policy. It was a state-sponsored suffering designed to dehumanize people for political theater. It was meant to hurt, to feed the cruelty of his base, to fuel fear, to prove just how little human life meant under his watch. This was deliberate. Apologies, not enough. Tears after the fact, too late. Accountability is the only way forward. We won't forget, and we damn sure won't let it slide. And it's this guy right here, the representative that went down there and saw that.
I'll be damned.
So there you go. I mean, there are some people on the other side there that know what's going on, and they're not, you know what I mean? They're not jiving with it, and they see it. So, but I do think anytime you're telling somebody you can't go in someplace that is a level that can go in, and you're not letting them, that's because big guy up there is telling them, no, you don't have to let him in. Don't let him in.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I would imagine even a senator couldn't just walk into like any prison for any reason, right? I mean, if it's, and I'm not justifying their lack of access.
But when they go, they tell them, I am so-and-so, judicial, blah, blah, whatever. He gives them their title and stuff, and he says, and under this, blah, 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 and they read out the law.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't know.
He reads the law, and the little guy who's just the peon at the gate tells him, nope, absolutely not. You cannot gain entry.
Yeah.
You know, and he says, well, then you're violating that. Well, I can't. I'm told.
What else is new?
Yeah.
Hope we're violating federal law? No, not now.
Yeah. Well, there is no federal law anymore. It seems like, right? It's kind of crazy. Then there's shit like this, which also just drives me nuts. So Trump recently launched a program for kids at the White House alongside disgraced football player Lawrence Taylor. Well, Lawrence Taylor, everybody knows, is a registered sex offender who raped a 16-year-old girl. And now he's at the White House in the Oval Office with Trump.
So there's at least 2 rapists in the White
There
House.
You go. Ooh, nice one. Love that segue.
I'm never going to get
we better edit that one out. Yeah. No, people made that joke. But that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. It's like when you had Kid Rock and people kicking in there with him. I'm like, what? And I wanted to go back for a minute and say, let's not forget about the whole Doge and Elon Musk thing. When this thing first started, Elon was jumping around with chainsaws and, and Trump was on the news going, I love Teslers, and couldn't even say the name right, or whatever. And now that whole thing blew up on him, right? And Elon's like, fuck you, he's doing this, he's in the Epstein files. And that whole thing
I've never been super into reality TV or anything, right. But I was like, oh, I can't wait to watch this implode.
Right.
And then it just kind of fizzled. I'm a little sad about it.
It's fizzled a little bit. Elon's still out there throwing shit at him, but I think he's
too high on ketamine to do anything about it.
Well, he's a weird dude. He's definitely a weird dude. And this was what I was telling you about when you came over tonight. This was just today. This is on Instagram and Facebook and a bunch of other social medias. He had a press conference tonight, and he's telling everyone all your purchases made on platforms like Amazon, Uber, Airbnb, DoorDash will be monitored and analyzed. And the comments on this were like, why do you need to analyze our shopping things? And they said, that's not just Big Brother. That's Big Brother kicking in the fucking door, And I thought, it is pretty crazy. It's like, it's just, there's always something every day. It's like, now we're going to do this, now we're going to do that. Holly, you don't need those 2 skirts you bought off of Amazon. Your salary is this, and the government believes...
I am so glad all they saw was the skirts I bought on Amazon. You're right.
But do you guys see what I mean? It's like, it's totally controlling everything, and it just is nuts.
Well, and I get, it's already been monitored for forever.
Oh, yeah,
and Amazon's been
everything.
Selling, and Meta's been selling. So
yeah, but why would he do a press conference about it and say we're going to start analyzing your
more distraction, I guess, or I mean, I don't mean to downplay it again. That could very well.
You don't watch the show on Netflix or something. I think it was called The Social Project, or it was something about social media. And it depicted us like when you like something on your Facebook, and there's like guys in the room going, "Oh, she liked that hot dog maker. Okay, send her this right now." And
it's like it's real, right? I mean, so right? I truly don't know if that, and I don't know if that sounds stupid or if I'm downplaying it. I just don't know that it's much different than what's already happening, except that it's going to be weaponized perhaps more than just. Do
you want to know something weird? And I thought about it when we're talking about everyone says, "Oh, they hear you through your phones and all this and that," and Siri and all that shit. The Riverview where I work, the bar I work at, never had bottled wine. They always had cheap box wines. When the new owners came in, they ordered a few select white wines and Cabernets and stuff. One of them is called Kim Crawford Chardonnay. I have never heard of Kim Crawford. Listen to this, you guys. I've never heard of Kim Crawford. I must have said the name while working, or somebody ordered it.
Started getting ads for it, huh?
That night, immediately, there was like, Kim Crawford this, and I'm like, what? All of a sudden, I've never even seen that on my social media.
I remember when I had my gift store up here, and someone, because if you have a business or you do anything for a podcast, like everyone and their mom's going to come up to you and be like, you should sell this, you should do this.
Right. Yeah. Oh, you need to get this in here.
Exactly. Right? So I remember, again, same thing. Like I know I've never brought this up in any conversation ever. And some local came in and said something about, you should sell some sundresses, like maybe some floral sundresses in here. Oh yeah, no, I'll think about it. And I'm like, no, I'm not.
Right.
And then I swear for like a month after that, and that was back in 2014. And it was just overnight. Every ad was floral sundresses. And, oh my Lord.
I never used to, I guess I was kind of stupid and didn't think they were really monitoring stuff like that. But we have an Echo my sister bought us for Christmas, which is like that Dalton would always unplug it. And I go, why are you unplugging it? I like to be able to tell it I want to hear something. And he's like, no, they hear everything you're saying through there. And
I don't.
Like, who's they? Are they the keyboard elves?
I don't even like my kids playing like the headset things in my house. I'm like, it's got a fucking camera on it, and a microphone. Like, it doesn't. I want it in my house.
Yeah, guys, for real. I mean, that's where we're at, right? This one bothered me, and it was something that I already knew during the insurrection when it happened. This guy right here, it's Joe Walsh. He says, for 187 minutes, Trump did nothing to stop the attack on the Capitol. Why? Because he loved it, because he wanted it to happen, because he wanted it to succeed, while those around him pleaded with him to stop it, which they did, including his own family at one point. And he wouldn't do it. This guy says he sat on his fat ass in front of the TV and applauded it. Well, we heard this from a lot of people that were with him that day, that he would not let anyone stop it. And he was watching it and enjoying it. But I think it's funny how he pardoned all those people.
Yeah.
And now you've got, do you guys, makes no sense. Makes no sense. And last but not least, this is Dan Rather, one of my favorite newsmen. Like I said, one of the old guys that was very credible in his reporting. He still has a Facebook page where he reports accurate news and stuff. And he put here, the guy taking over the DC police to protect federal buildings is the same guy who indicted a mob to attack the U.S. Capitol. And he's just reminding us, hello, McFly, that's what it is. And Dan Rather is no nonsense. He's like, come on, you guys, But again, what do we do about it? I don't know. I don't know. I think we're all in the same boat. We're waiting to see.
But we can't wait and see.
No, I know.
I don't know what to do instead. I mean, God, that's other part of it too. Even when there's protests or boycotts, when you're living paycheck to paycheck and the nearest Walmart is the only place to get affordable food and necessities and hygiene products for your family, and there's a boycott of Walmart, you're not going to drive your ass to the next city and go to Trader Joe's.
Can't afford Trader Joe's.
Nobody can afford Trader Joe's.
Not even the peanuts or anything. Jeez.
But and then when there's protests and if you want to go be involved, but you can't miss that shift.
We've had a couple of little ones here in our little town.
I saw.
Did you see those?
It made it onto national news?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, not that I watched, but I think my mom texted me. She's my news.
It was interesting, but I applaud those people for doing that. I do, just because look, whatever you believe in, and you're going to go out and represent for it. That's great,
Yeah, for goodness sake, take advantage of your freedom of speech while you still have it.
While you have it. In fact, we'll probably get a knock at the door here in a minute. Charles, I'd like to talk to you. But it's stuff we needed to talk about. It's poking away at all of us. We're seeing it every day. It's coming at us in lightning speed. And it's just like you can't even almost keep up with everything that's being said, done, and then deciphering between what is real and what isn't. So my point of the podcast was just to discuss it out of frustration and trying to figure out where we're all headed, where we're all going. I think we're sinking. I think we're going to see some other crazy shit happen, especially when it comes to Putin and all these other things going on. And we just don't know. You just don't know. But it seems to me like this is the new motto right here. The new American dream is to leave America.
Ooh, I'm gonna disagree with that one.
Really?
All right. We're gonna pull up James Baldwin, the author, activist. We have to love America so much and believe in it so much that we're willing to never stop criticizing it and never stop fighting for it. And don't get me wrong, there are certainly groups of people in communities that are particularly vulnerable right now.
Yeah.
Canada even is taking trans people, rightly fucking so.
Right.
But if you're in any position to stay and fight for it, do it.
Another friend of mine who is very active that way said the same thing. Now's not the time to lay down. Now's the time to.
That's exactly right. And we're gonna lose, and we're gonna continue to lose, and it might be too late. And we've talked about that before too. If this system isn't broken, right? This is kind of the natural conclusion to what we built 200 years ago.
So does it make you do you ever think, wonder what is going to come out of all this when it's all washed away and we're back to some other different plateau? What will it be like? It'll be totally different probably than anything we've ever seen, I would think. Life. See, I don't have any children, but you have kids. And I always think about people with children, and I think, everyone always says, I'm 63. I grew up in the 70s, and Dalton makes fun of it all the time. And I go, let me tell you something, dude. In the 70s, I had a great childhood. I said, we rode our bikes in the dark at night. Our parents were not worried about, do you know what I mean? It was a different time.
No, when I was in kindergarten, there was like a kindergarten bus that just dropped us off at noon, like half day kindergarten.
Yeah.
No parents there.
No.
They all knew we were just going home alone.
Yeah.
Nobody was like filming us walking home alone and putting it on YouTube.
I mean, I just,
it's crazy.
When I think back to that growing up in the 70s, me and my sisters and stuff, I remember thinking, I really enjoyed my child. I had a great childhood. I mean, it was just, I wasn't scared of anything except for Patricia Hearst and the Sudanese Liberation Army. And that was because they were a Bay Area based thing. And I thought they were going to come kill me. And I wouldn't go to sleep. I'd have nightmares and my mother would be all, what's wrong with you? Why can't you go to sleep? I go, Patty Hearst is going to kill me. And she goes, Patty Hearst doesn't even know who the hell you are. Now go stand in the corner until you get tired.
That is like my favorite story you've ever told.
Oh, there's more. My mother was crazy. I was scared of her. And who else did we? Oh, we had the Zodiac Killer in San Francisco in the Bay Area.
Okay, that's justified.
That was super frightening, yeah. Well, the thing was frightening about the SLA and Patty Hearst for me was every night on the news.
Of course.
She had the gun, and Sing Chu with his black bald head and his gun, and I just felt like they're around my neighborhood. You know what I mean? It was like, as a child.
No, I know you were a kid. It's just funny in hindsight.
No, it's hilarious. And my mother used to laugh about it. She said, you always thought that they were going to come again. Well, Zodiac Killer, that was another thing, was on the news every night. And they're like, tonight he chopped up a child in a shoebox and he's wearing striped socks. So anybody who had striped socks, after I saw that newscast. So I just fucked all the way, you guys.
But you had a good childhood other than...
I had a great childhood other than Patty Hearst. And that damn Zodiac Killer. I'm Chuck Oliveris. This is Holly Gallo. I'm glad you guys watched. We had to talk about it. We did it. What do we do from here? I don't know. You're all going to be there to find out with us. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you soon.
I love the new news music. It feels so official.